After 5 years of service, the laptop finally died. I know everyone had been hearing the fan going. I had taken it apart and cleaned it and done everything possible to it. I had wiped it and reinstalled it multiple times, and it was just its time. So we are now going to move to a more high-tech version of how we do videos. We are going to, instead of pointing the iPhone at the 5-year-old laptop, we are now going to point the phone at the iPad. So, off into the future. Pardon the echo, we are also at a different location today. Cannot divulge, but it will be a little bit more echoey, so my apologies. Anyway, wanted to do a video regarding this issue with the USS Fitzgerald now being the subject of a training simulation for the United States Navy. As if it wasn't bad enough for these sailors that they have to deal with an epic level of illogic coming from on high, now they have to suffer through and endure this travesty. Because if this is going to be the new standard, remember, they said in the post-collision that the sailors aboard the Fitzgerald acted heroically, meritoriously, bravely, well-trained, above and beyond. In fact, let's see if I can do this here without using a... U.S. 7th Fleet honors 36 sailors for bravery and damage control efforts. And as much as we've talked about those that perished, I thought these guys deserved a shout-out too. Letters of commendation, outstanding performance, highly professional manner, exceptional dedication, loyalty, teamwork. About everything that you could... I mean, look at that. And here's all the people that apparently were immune to fatigue. They must have been immune to poor training and immune to the poor culture. That's amazing. They must have been something that they were eating or drinking, or, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe these are just secret reptilians, and that's why they're so much better than everyone else. Why these 36 aboard got letters of commendation and medals, somehow completely circumventing this idea that the U.S. 7th Fleet needs this giant revamp and can't sail its ships properly and cannot conduct themselves in a professional military manner. Apparently these 36 are just the exception to the rule. Because what they're going to say now is that we're going to use this simulation as a teaching moment. So, if in the post-collision everything was done properly and above and beyond, is Seaman Snuffy going to get docked if he holds down the collision alarm for more than 2 seconds? I mean, if the collision happens and then he says, sound general quarters, they're going to, sorry, Seaman Snuffy. The correct answer there was you were supposed to wait for the DCA who's asleep to be thrown from her bunk, and then she will get up, and then 14 minutes later, make her way to the central control, and she will call general quarters. You don't do that from the bridge. That's the standard. Because, as we know, they're making a simulation about what's supposed to happen. Is someone supposed to contact the captain? No, don't try to contact the captain, Seaman Snuffy. Remember, he's hanging from the side of the ship right now. He can call you. He can call you. You can't call him. And you're supposed to then instruct people to go find some kettlebells so they can bash open his door and then construct a makeshift harness and then get him to the bridge. But at no time before that are you supposed to attempt to contact him at all. Also, Seaman Snuffy, remember, nobody is performing lookout duties on the starboard side, because that's what our report says. So if you see anybody using binoculars to look off to starboard and making an argument with the officer of the deck about what the radar may or may not be saying, then you're going to flunk. And I'm sure Seaman Snuffy would say, but the report says that's what happened. Seaman Snuffy, we've explained to you what the standard is. Now you need to square yourself away, and you need to do what we tell you to do. I mean, seriously, these guys are going to go jump off a damn building. And I wouldn't blame them, because of the ridiculousness. And also make sure you adhere to the standards, Seaman Snuffy. After the event, make sure you find someone with a personal cell phone, even though you're going to have communications for the next 30 minutes. And communications aren't going to go down until almost 2 o'clock, even though the collision happened at 1:30. You have to wait for a crewman to make a personal cell call to Desron. That's how we're going to notify up the chain. You have to wait 50 minutes. And if you do it before the crew of the the ACX Crystal does it, then you flunk. Seaman Snuffy. Now, have I made the standard clear? I can't even deal with it anymore. It's just so lame-brained. If you really, honest to God, believe this story about the USS Fitzgerald and what they say happened, I don't even know how to speak to you at this moment. I really don't. It's beyond my ability to communicate to the emotional mind. It really is, in a way that's going to change anything. And I brought this up because I was going to do another video today covering this, but I'm going to speak very briefly about this issue going on down in Florida one last time, down in Southern Florida, Parkland school shooting, all that. It goes back to something that I've alleged a long time ago, and I really gave up trying to convince people of. That there is an emotional component going on with both sides of all arguments right now. The thinking brain has been moved out of things, and the emotional brain has been engaged with everything. Here's the example. In this issue down there, there's two emotionally invested points of view. Any third option will be vehemently denied and shot down. Emotional option number one, of course, from the left. This is a function of gun culture and the gun nuts and the NRA and all of their money and how they're destroying America and killing children and all of that emotional nonsense. But on the right, on the other side, there's this emotional response. This is just another false flag, crisis actors, conspiracy theory, they're trying to take our guns, and but they're both emotional responses. And they're the only two narratives that the emotional brain can comprehend. The thing that I've alleged about the ties to the gang ties, the ties to terrorism, even though I showed that not very far away, Cozumel to this place is really not very far away when you think of the Caribbean. A bomb just went off on a boat. The ELN has been tied to Hezbollah. All of them have been tied to South Florida. That this kid might have been being handled. And it would explain the money issue, and it would explain a lot of things. It doesn't play in to either emotional argument, because the lefties can't grab it and get emotional about something like that, because if it was really a terror attack, it doesn't give them the platform to bitch about guns. But from the right, they don't get to get their conspiracy theory and their false flag nonsense either. So neither group gets their emotional fix from the thing that I've alleged, even though I can show good factual hard evidence that this very well might have been the case. It doesn't play into everyone's emotional state. Therefore, I'm the enemy of both people, both sides. Then this happened back in the Electoral College argument way long time ago, when I was making the argument about no matter, the very first video I ever did, in fact, said no matter which side wins, the other side is going to attempt to use the Electoral College to overturn the election. And there was evidence for both. And we saw that actually play out. There were Hillary's electors flipped, and there were some from Donald Trump as well. But the attempt was there, but because I wasn't in either camp, and I had made the allegation that both choices were equally horrible for this country, my take didn't give anyone the emotional rush they needed. So I ended up being called a Clinton Podesta operative. I ended up being called a secret Trump hack, all sorts of names, because I didn't get emotional about it, and I just looked at it analytically. So that's all I want to say about this. And, well, I shouldn't say that. I'll say one more thing about the demonetization thing. Alphabet Incorporated is a for-profit business. YouTube is a for-profit business. You don't have a constitutional right to be paid for your videos on YouTube. If they don't want you, or they just don't like, say they came to me and said, you know what, we don't like middle-aged guys whose names begin with D this week, so nobody this week is going to be demonetized. Okay, you know what? Welcome to America. The same people who make the dumb arguments about, I'm entitled to have a cake baked for me because I'm gay, and the people who say, no, you should be able to bake cake for whoever you want to, are the same people that are saying they're entitled to be monetized on YouTube. They're not. Neither am I. I've had videos demonetized. I've had most of them overturned. Some of them I haven't, but that's just, you know, it's their platform. I'm not entitled to YouTube's platform. And neither is anyone else. And it goes to discretion. Is what we're being told about what happened down there the complete and total truth? No. So can we speculate? Yes. Should we use discretion when we do? Yes. Should we begin sliming children? High school children, literally within days? I don't care what evidence you think you have for this. It shows poor judgment and poor discretion to use the terminologies and to make the allegations regarding children. It's not, anybody who's ever raised kids knows that sometimes the truth can do a hell of a lot more damage than just keeping your mouth shut. And I'm sorry, but with those people that got demonetized and got thrown off here or got their live stream privileges taken away or whatever, I've never live streamed, I don't even know a thing about it, but, you know, you're dealing with a for-profit business, and they have had standards, and they have the right to change them, too. Everybody gets to abide by the same rules. You've never heard this channel one time say, oh, gosh, I wish Hillary was president. So don't make it about that. I'm not pro-Hillary. I'm not pro-Trump either. I'm in the middle of the road. Really, not so much on either one of them. I think it's kind of ironic that gun control is going to get done under this guy, given the people that voted for him, but another video for another day. Point being, you can't get emotionally involved when you're dealing with information like this. You have to step back, take a breath, act like an adult, and make the good decision. Maybe not the one that will give you the emotional ride or the fix, but the one that's going to be long-term good. So, I will leave it there. So, anyway, end of the laptop. That was that. So, it was a good laptop. HP Pavilion G7. So, I don't know if it's ever going to power up again, but if it does, maybe we'll use it again. Who knows? I'll take it apart, see what we can do. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Thank you.